Díomh agus fáilte, chonig sibh cúil do chuid chunda éontraman san ó 1989 be mid a fille tradiisiún na Hamána sa Honda sin i gan tamil. Agus be córagraí radio na Gaeltachta Cillian Briscoe ag play César nua Formula Héanlam sa studio. Ach at a sachanacht soccer a dúsgart na Héireann. Tá go leor imróirí soccer ó bhlá clia ag taistil go béil ferris de gachain dear a seachtaine ag gimmart le clubban an túsgart. Ina measc tá imróirí do chuid Cliftonville, club atá tag nuas ó bhun na rinne go dtí an bara, tuairiscíonn finnín.
I'm enjoying solitude, Park Pellet, Cliftonville. Cyn fáil mit yn sio. Wel, nori bafeg na'r chalsi dyn naeth sy'n ffri ffra, agos nes ta sydd yr war yn y straha, agos gach sians o cwyn straha wans dyn chedwr yr iw. Sy'n lucht fech yn y Cliftonville yr meil hahas nôr y amsyn a lea hwyr Barry O'Connor yn ched cwl dyn siwr a pwysig solitude cwpl y siaft yn y hyn. Ta sé hén agus a chara balla clíochaile Gary Slaney a gimmers le Cliftonville na tamil, agus tá an óstácha ar an club, rud nach feddhí a haulú í tús na bliana agus an arúar hocar a mel ferste. Tá ceire ar an phríomhrá loníthe a mel ferste, orthaí sin is iad Linfield san íorthar agus Glentoran san iorthar na fórne sláidre. Tagan na daciad ó cheantarlach debre frodastúnach. A dúsgat na carach tá Crusaders a bhain sra an orí. Tá Cliftonville gardómh sa tíb sin den chahar, club a bunaíú an 8 seachtas an lí an club besinne sa tír. Tá dúhain teacha le na garde Bohemian sa mar a clia. Cé gur carhua santas a chacha cha si blianta fada ag strácalig bun na sratha, agus idir 9 sa cehar agus seachtas a cuig, began dó cada áil gach blian fanat sa sra. Club amateiricha bhí anta a gcónaí, agus le ghlach club eile ag dul na garamúlacht, thachar si dul an stráchéanas na seachtaí. Ach ní wada grópaíocha troma ortha, agus bavegnar dúnún commons na hachtóidí.
We had very severe financial problems 1986, 1987, when the club really were on the verge possibly of folding. We had to raise a lot of money in a very short space of time. What actually happened was down again to the vast upkeep of the ground, which you'll see today. The gates, unfortunately, just were not paying all the overheads. And we had to raise £35,000 within about a 4-week period. And thanks to the support that we had through the Irish League and the IFA and our supporters clubs and other people rallying around, fortunately we were able to stave off the evil day, and now things are much better, but it's still a very, very difficult job.
Maar gelder in Kangel idir Cliftonville agus náisiúnachas is minic a bhíonar Jim Boyce Cliftonville a chosint.
Well, I think it's one of these situations that we've got a Northern Ireland situation, and when problems arise with Cliftonville Football Club, they appear not only to hit the local press but the national press. It's been very, very difficult. The political problems that we've had in Northern Ireland, which are very well versed. Cliftonville have not been able to play Linfield at Solitude since 1971. Which is a long, long time. Cliftonville relied in the early days on getting ground rent for various Irish Cup semi-finals, finals, league semi-finals. We haven't had one of those in the last 26 years. And it has been very, very difficult because any revenue that we raise, we have to raise ourselves.
An orí bhí Cliftonville san nuiad a ríis ar chúisin an nach éonhain teacha le cuasaí pelle. Nuair a bhí na himróirí dul ar an farc a bort an dúnan, bhí lucht takeíocht a bhíionsaí ar a mealach ag an cluiche. Chaitheann lucht takeíocht a áitiúr clocha leis na bosanna, agus rinneú a lán dameiste. Cé gur na fórsaí slán dul sa cheantar, chuireann na léic ar has siad tír agus seoigh dul réie, agus in iarúin léid ní réidir leis an lucht takeíocht a dul isteas a farc. Má geallar an láisin agus achtarí éagsúla eile, ní aontas go síl an coiltain lucht takeíocht a ghfuil gachrod in an gcuine.
Bhí mé sé an mós le Maclan, agus cai siad cloch áine, agus stáid siad sin ag dolasteach sa talú, agus ní rócáda agéine dolasteach, agus ag an clocha sin, bhí Cliftonville ag buint, Portadown, Cúlahhain go dtí náid, ach ag leama, nuair a bhí na palatóirí chun teach amach a rééis, dúirt siad cabhal ar lech leanaine, agus dúirt ar lón ní rócáda acu dolasteach, agus bhí acuin sin go ró troblaid, agus near hanig siad amach don dara lea. Maar bhí agla orthu mar a sé sin a cardja taobh mu an talú, a sé sin a chlán taobh mu an talú, agus bhí aglan tón orthu.
Níl sé mágulúir mar sé ahan cuman eile heag a fart seo a go bhhain Linfield. Níl something ceapú go bhfuil an lucht ar Linfield le 10 nó ar an AFI nó go béitainne nó fiúhain ar na PES.
Is ceann mar a bhhain ar a bhí mar a Glenfield Winter Park, agus bhí neach agam thar ón Austrráiltheas agus dúirt mé leis tarthaigh an cleacha seo leom tá an crack ó hén tag mai, agus ribh an cleacha dúirt sé leom. Go teigh bhfuil na Pólíní osár cuair in éirí millata agus le gonaí plástica agus le Madrí agus os cuair lech blaanaí na Linfield lena léana. Agus dúirt sé, an tharlaíonn sinna gcóna is dúirt mé ó sinna teagain seo, sinna dóileann seo, agus tána lech blaanaí nála ag rá, má bhain Cliftonville an Stray. Just an Iron Nationalist concession.
Maidin de saharnig station í chonne má le clia agus tá an bhirt soccer mercenary seo ar a malach an Ibre. Emrion Barry O'Connor a Jimmer le Shamrock Rovers agus Shelburne agus Gary Slaney a chai seall le Manchester City agus Home Farm le Cliftonville inis. Ní chur an cuasí políocht den tuisgo isteach ná amach ortha. Ní hastin uha ach soccer emirt agus roncharig de híru. Chur imrií ar nás Desi Gorman a Emrion le Linfield agus Vinnie Arkins a Emrion le Portendúnan tuis leis an nás seo. Agus gomininic bíad agus chuig imróideag ag taistil le chéile ar an tréin seo. Réir costalata tan na himraí agus a globanna ansásta leis an socrú. A céir de cheapan na himraí den chlia sa tuisgurt.
If you're talking about the actual football side of it, I'd say maybe League of Ireland is just that step ahead of Irish League football. Just that, not much difference now, to be honest with you. If you're talking about the actual setups, although the League of Ireland are making great strides at the moment, I don't think they're at a par with the Irish League setup as regards grounds, facilities, bars in the grounds, seating, accommodation, cover accommodation for supporters. Basically, I think Northern Ireland are miles ahead. Now we've been getting a lot to do this year, and I get on really well with the Irish supporters, and I have done from the first day that I've come up here. They don't give me any stick. The opposing teams give me a bit of stick, alright, but then you like to think that's because you're doing it.
Naturally you'd have a few worries, you don't know what it's like, but I'm up there, I've been up, this is my second time up there now, and been up there an awful lot, stayed overnight for weekends and things, and I've had no problems, no real problems at all, so I'm okay with it.
Well, I heard that the standard was good. I mean, at that stage there was a lot of fellas playing up there. I mean, Pat Fenlon was up there, Linfield, Gary Haylock, Martin Russell, people that I knew. So I knew the standard must have been pretty high for the calibre of player to be playing, and so we just decided to take a chance. Personally, I got on really well with them. They were a great set of supporters, really. You know, very fanatical, you could say. You know, a lot more fanatical than League of Ireland supporters, I would think. It's a bit more Saturday. Can't wait to get to the ground.
Tá takeíocht Angie an sa cheantar gan eures. Tá Hugh Owens caitheach ars den tuairim ghfuil bariad fórne ón cheantar bagaháin i gimmert na é chéile go rá vinnig, chuig na séúra sa téasú uaireanta, agus gur cháir níos mó fórne as na cheantar eile a bheits a srá. Is léir ghfuil spirid na bíonna seachtas an lí ar a bhain Cliftonville an corn beá agus láidir a ríis. De sahann se caite, haistil Cliftonville agus a locht leanúna agus iad lándáchas go ards. I léin áras na go dag an raidir bliana ó captain agus duine de léchran na bíonna seachtas an lí, Marty Quinn.
I think the major highlight of any Cliftonville fan or player would be 1979 when the club won the Irish Cup and qualified for a European Cup winners' place, and also won another couple of trophies in the season and the season after that as well. So it's been a nice association myself personally with Cliftonville.
Ach ma cheapan Reds go raibh trí fonte éasca le tógáil an seo bhí Gima an andamh. Tá anmheasar Stephen Henderson mar chuail baile sa tuisceart agus bhí sé róis te saharn. Agus leis an imreoir uair Jonathan Priceman ag gimmert a chéad chluthe ag socrú go mbeidh a lár na parca, ní raibh Cliftonville deanú mar an dulchan cinn. Ards a chuig an tosaí ar dús. Freisin an immert siad sa lár na parca agus tar éis roint botún agus drochos an Joe Hockey a Cliftonville, nuair a fuair John Kerr a Hans níl hastíon dar a seans fuia. Tobist na Rovers ag súil leis, an roin srathag sleúnú ar hiúil. Bhí sé santasach gur imreoir de chuid ards Harry McCourt a háil an lá, leis an chúil bhré seo. Cúil a chuinn Cliftonville ceire fonte an tosaí sa srá, agus a thug ábhar ceilirthe don lucht takeíochta a rís. Lá eile ibre de Barry O'Connor ach ní seo an tarú a bhí bhuathe. Ní ró spirit teachtas an líle feiceil agus ní ró an banisteoir rá háasta.
Marty, not exactly the result you were looking for.
No, certainly not the result we were looking for. I'm bitterly disappointed. In saying that, all credit to Ards. They're at the bottom of the league today, and they battled very hard, and they probably deserved a draw. We didn't play as well as I would have liked Cliftonville to have played, but that's the way it goes.
Agus cosúil go bhfuil na banistóirí ar fad atógan rangan na PRO Alex Ferguson. Agus dal an scéal mac é Barry O'Connor le Jimmy O'Connor an nearnamid an scéal leis faoin trí chúlas tapúla riamh sa soccer. Tá cultúr agus béléidir na hamána anláidir a gunda éintrama ach ní raibh an táló le blianta fada.
Park where we begin our roundup.
Well, Gary Haylock headed in his 18th of the season.
Donnelly. Cliftonville incensed, but the referee's red card did seem harsh. The 10 men of Glentoran won it though in the second half. Stuart Elliott's perfect cross, just McBride very assured, his 15th of the season.
Games. Omagh beat Crusaders 6-5 on penalties, Dunganfield 3, Bangor 0, Ards 0, Cliftonville 1 and Carrick 0, Glenavon 7. Des Fahy rounds up the highlights from Windsor Park and Taylor's Avenue.
Ards' old boy Harry McCord, who got Cliftonville's winner.
Striker Harry McCord sank his former club Ards with the only goal of the game at Castlereagh Park. Michael McNamee, Newsline.
The lob was perfect and Harry McCord is off the mark for Cliftonville this Wednesday evening.
Clash with Portadown. His injured shin hasn't cleared up on time, and top scorer Vinnie Arkins is also doubtful with a hamstring problem for the visitors. More about that game in a minute. Spike Ferguson will make his first return and he knows he'll need all that experience tomorrow.
It's not quite showdown time at Solitude tomorrow. That could come when the same teams meet at Shamrock Park on the last day of the season. But there's no doubting the importance of this game for the eventual fate of the league title.
This is the stage basically now where the pressure starts to come on, and it's up basically to whichever team can hold their nerve the most. We've been down this road many times before. We have a lot of experienced players, and as I said, we're well prepared for the final run-in.
It's unlikely that McFall would have singled out Cliftonville as potential title opponents at the start of the season. But Marty Quinn's men have beaten Portadown twice already in the league and have shown that they have the stomach to go the distance.
I think I've taken everybody by surprise. I think Marty would be the first to admit that. But I always believe that the league table never lies, and they're sitting top of the table at the minute, and they have to be the best side at this point in time. They've done very well. Obviously, their front two causes the teams a lot of problem with their pace, and it should be a good game Saturday.
Portadown's season has centred largely on the contributions of Arkins, Haylock and Woods, who've shared over 60 goals between them. And Ronnie McFall knows he needs more of the same on the run-in.
We have a lot of quality players. It's the only thing that's against us really is that we have a very small squad, and if we can keep everyone fit between now and the end of the season, I don't think we'll be that far away.
Confirmation too of that result from Dublin.
And it's first against second in the Smirnoff Irish League today. Undoubtedly the biggest game of the season so far. Solitude is the place to be as the leaders Cliftonville take on Portadown. The Reds 1 point clear at the top of the table and with the game in hand. It's a huge match for both sides and one that could go a long way in deciding the championship. Well, joining me now is the man who's led the Reds to the top of the table, manager Marty Quinn. Marty, would you agree with that biggest game of the season so far?
Well, it certainly is for Cliftonville. The fact of the matter is if we win today, we go 4 points clear. So, yeah, it's a massive game for us.
Let's bring the fans right up to date with your injury problems. Mickey Donnelly and Jody Toole.
Well, Mickey Donnelly, it doesn't look as if Mickey's going to make it. I've just left Solitude. The players that are having treatment with their physio at the moment. Stephen Small and Michael Donnelly won't be playing for Cliftonville today. Jody Toole will. That's the 1+ for us.
We can see some action here with Jody Toole, because that's a big boost for you today, isn't it? Just tell us about this young player.
Well, he came from nowhere. An ex-player, Peter McCusker, who's now on our coaching staff, spotted him playing in a 7-a-side tournament. Seen the skill the boy has. He came to us, played a few reserve team matches, and I could see it for myself.
And the Bolton Wanderers, what's happening with that?
Bolton Wanderers want Jody to go back again. They want him over in Bolton on Monday fortnight to play a reserve game v Wolves.
And moving on, this is your win against Portadown at Shamrock Park. A great goal from Tim McCann that day. I mean, what sort of game can you expect today?
Well, the game I would like to expect today would be a free-flowing game of football, particularly from Cliftonville. I feel if we go out and attack
Portadown in certain areas of the park, we can be successful.
I'm sure you've heard this many times before, but it is an amazing transformation. This time last year, you were really battling for points every game. You were bottom of the league, now you're top. Can Cliftonville go on and win this league?
I think so. If we win our remaining games, yeah, we're in pole position at the moment, and if we win our remaining games, we can, and if we don't, we won't. So I'm sitting on the fence.
And the Red Army get out today?
I hope so. I hope they'll give us a good support and we can give them a good win.
Marty, thanks very much for coming in today, and best of luck to you at both sides. Well, Glen Ferguson returns to Glenavon today. It was from the Premier Division, and as Ballymena 1, Ards 1, the big game there. Cliftonville 1, Portadown 0. Action coming up. Coleraine 1, Omagh 1, Crusaders 0, Glentoran 3. Goals from that game coming up, and also Glenavon 2, Linfield 4. So a great day for Cliftonville, who won the big top-of-the-table game against Portadown.
It was billed as the game of the season, and it began with a goal worthy of the occasion. Sliney fed O'Connor from a 7th-minute free kick, and his 20-yard shot gave the league leaders the lead. A good start for either side was vital, and O'Connor's vision ensured that it went Cliftonville's way. Portadown were then stung into action, and Casey's 30-yard drive was close enough to force Rees to cover. A lacklustre second half began with Dalton getting well behind a Sliney free kick. A minute later, Arkins fed Haylock from wide on the right, but the normally accurate striker was off target. It finished 1-0 and Cliftonville passed the key test of their championship credentials.
It was a hard game, but a fairly deserved win. I felt on the day, and the winning goal was something out of this world. It was a great win.
Well, the Glentoran revival continues. The Glens crushing 3-0 winners over fading champions Crusaders at Seaview.
Roy Coyle has transformed the East Belfast side since taking charge at the Oval. Devine's free kick relayed into the box to be struck first by...
It was Glenavon who took an early lead. A controversial penalty it was too. Just watch it here. Yeah, handball, I think, really. Paul Byrne didn't care as he dispatched the spot kick for 1-0. But the Blues were soon level, and it was no surprise, I suppose, that it was Ferguson who got it. His first goal for Linfield, and with the game in hand at home to Crusaders in midweek. Portadown stay second, but Linfield and Glentoran maintain their challenge with good wins today. There's the first division. Ballycare through.
At the top of the Smirnoff Irish League after Saturday's 1-0 win in the crunch top 2 clash with Portadown. We begin our roundup at Solitude.
It's 88 years since Cliftonville last won the Irish League, but 10 games to go now for the Reds. Barry O'Connor's goal on Saturday leaves them 4 points clear.
Yeah, magnificent strike from Barry, but Barry's been doing that on the quiet, and about five 1-0 wins Barry O'Connor's got on the end of him, so well pleased for him. We're not getting carried away. We're taking Tuesday night's game, v Crusaders here at Solitude, as our next game, and who knows what will come of that one.
Took a big step towards the Premier League title as they beat second place Portadown at Solitude. Cliftonville's goal to beat Portadown came on 7 minutes. At 8-1-2 and Barry O'Connor's dipper sailed into the net. A sweet strike, O'Connor's 12th of the season, the Reds 4 points clear with the game in hand.
It's a great position. It's one the other 9 managers would love to be in, but I'm enjoying it at the moment. As you see, our supporters are also enjoying it.
A Paul Byrne penalty gave Glenavon the lead over Linfield.
Coleraine hammered last night in the Irish News Cup. Cliftonville, they'll be fancied at home to Omagh. Glenavon, they'll be favourites against Newry. While Distillery, they'll certainly enjoy the visit of Linfield. The games will be played on Tuesday the 24th of February. Well, Cliftonville's young striker Jody Tolan could be out of action for the rest of the season after tearing his ankle ligaments during last night's 1-0 defeat by Crusaders at Solitude. It capped a bad night for the Reds, who missed out on the chance to increase their lead at the top. Elsewhere, Glentoran have moved into third spot after victory over Ards. We begin our action roundup at Solitude.
The Red Army were out in force last night, hoping to cheer their team to another victory and a step closer to their first title in 88 years. It was billed as the champions versus the champions-elect. Cliftonville started the better, but as the game went on, it was the wily old campaigners from Crusaders who dug in, closed ranks and ground out a deserved victory that once again throws the title race wide open. The game was not without incident nor controversy, the two big talking points occurring within 30 seconds of each other. First, the Reds' promising young striker Jody Tolan landed awkwardly in the box. It was clear he was badly hurt. X-rays later revealed no break, but his ankle ligaments are badly torn, and he'll do well to play again this season. It's a huge blow not only for Cliftonville, but for the player, who was due to return to Bolton Wanderers for a second trial later this month. The controversy surrounded Crewe's substitute Kirk Hunter. The referee may have missed it, but the linesman didn't, and after that there was no doubt that Hunter would be seeing red. But the Crews are past masters at turning adversity into triumph, and that's what they did 8 minutes from time. Gavin Arthur's free kick was good enough to win any match. The Reds came storming back in search of an equaliser. Marty Tabb going closest in a pulsating finish to a highly entertaining, competitive and passionate match. The Crews hung on, and at the final whistle it was clear just what it meant to their players. They may be out of the title running this year, but the champions played like champions last night. The celebrations at the end suggested it was they, and not Cliftonville, who led the Premier Division table by 4 points.
And celebrations at the Oval as Tommy Cassidy's return finished in defeat. The Glens now in third spot. Gilby's team of the month for February, while Coyleside are currently in third place in the league after beating Ards midweek and are just 6 points behind the leaders Cliftonville, whose goalkeeper Paul Rees today picked up the Goalkeeper of the Month award. Rees has played a major role in Cliftonville's success this season. Rugby next, and the holders Ballymena, they've been drawn at home to Dromore,
giving up the challenge, and Portadown down to fourth, and Omagh gaining ground on Glenavon down at the bottom. In the first division, the leader
still setting the pace at the top of the Premier League. They're now 6 points clear with 8 matches left. On Saturday, the Reds beat Ballymena 5-2. The fastest goal of the weekend, 34 seconds gone. Paul Rees did get a touch to Patton's cross, but the linesman ruled it was over the line. The Reds drew level on 33 minutes. Flynn swept over the cross and O'Connor with a looping header, 1 each. And 5 minutes later, more celebrations. The Reds back in front. Former Ards striker Harry McCourt blasted home to the delight of the huge crowd. Just before the interval, the home crowd was silenced. Stephen Stewart with the ball and then Peter Murray with the slightest of touches. 2 each after 45 minutes. But this is a determined Reds team. On 57 minutes, McCann's cross and the rejuvenated McCourt with the header, 3-2. The last 2 minutes were Roy of the Rover stuff. Firstly, a late tackle on McCann by Jason Allen, and referee Alan Snoddy had no hesitation. A red card for the Ballymena defender. And from that, Cliftonville hit their fourth. O'Connor's header neatly placed in the corner. And sheer delight for the home fans when he completed a magical hat-trick, rounding the keeper and blasting the ball home. 5-2 to Cliftonville. They'll be hard to stop. Well, the reigning champions Crusaders did the Reds a huge favour at the weekend with victory over the morning second place team Portadown, that match at Seaview.
And after their 5-2 win over Ballymena United, you couldn't blame them. The Reds 6 points clear of the pack with 8 games left. Only Glentoran, Linfield and Portadown can catch them. The best of the goals beginning at Solitude. Just 34 seconds had gone when Cliftonville keeper Paul Rees let Barry Patton's cross slip through his hands and over the line. The leaders were level on 32 minutes, Barry O'Connor's header looping in. 2-2 at half-time. Some Tim McCann wizardry provided Harry McCourt with his second of the day. United were down to 10 men when the Reds got 2 in the last 2 minutes. O'Connor's head made it 4-2, and then O'Connor waltzed through to complete his hat-trick. Glentoran hit 5 at Coleraine to go second. Best goal of the game, this lob from Stuart Elliott.
And they hold on, sing the run-in for all the top teams.
On paper, the current league leaders Cliftonville have possibly the hardest run-in. They face crunch clashes at Crusaders and Linfield before 2 tough games to end with, at home to closest rivals Glentoran and away to Portadown on the final day. Throughout the season, confidence and the will to battle have been Cliftonville's watchwords. Assistant manager Rory O'Boyle says last season's relegation dogfight has the players well prepared for the tough tests that lie ahead.
Well, I think the position that we were in this time last year, and that we were very, very bottom of the league, and it went down to the wire on the last day of the season. I think that's prepared us really, really well for the battles that are coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've got all the teams to play, but as I said earlier on in the season, I think everybody is capable of beating everybody else. There will be a lot of twists before this league's over.
Second place Glentoran are the form team of the moment. Only one loss in their last 13 has propelled them from second bottom to second. They face Linfield in a clash of the Belfast Big Two at Windsor and tackle Cliftonville away in their penultimate game. Justin McBride and Andy Kirk have been in prolific form, and many feel the Glens have hit a winning rhythm at just the right time. But philosophical manager Roy Coyle insists Cliftonville are in pole position.
The bottom line is that the league championship destiny lies within Cliftonville. If they win, we can't do anything about that. The only thing is we've got to play each other. So I would think maybe there'll be the odd twist and turn before the end of the season, but I would rather be in Cliftonville's position than the position we're in.
In their run-in, meantime, Linfield get the other top four teams out of the way early. Glentoran and Cliftonville at Windsor, Portadown away. Their last 3 games are, on paper, the easiest of the title challengers. The Blues have been finding the net recently, something they hadn't been doing earlier in the season. Manager David Jeffrey says he'll be relying on his vast experience of championship run-ins as a player to see him through.
I'm learning all of the time is how I should cope as a manager, but I think the best way to manage is you try and remember back to your playing days, and you try and help the players in the way that you would have wanted to be helped when you're in this situation. So I'm sort of drawing a lot on my experience as a player, and hopefully that will see me through in terms of management.
The outside bets are Portadown, who face a Mid-Ulster derby at Glenavon before tackling both Linfield and Glentoran at Shamrock Park. They also host Cliftonville in the last game of the season in what could yet be a championship decider. While Vinnie Arkins and Gary Haylock have been banging the goals in all season, the Port's defence has been leaking them at the other end. Former skipper Brian Strain knows all about winning titles, and he thinks it's all still to play for.
We played probably the best we've played against Ballymena, 2 or 3 matches ago, and then we slumped to 2 bad defeats. And if Cliftonville, if anybody hits a slump like that and they get 2 or 3 bad defeats and somebody else manages a couple of wins or a draw, then it turns right around again.
So if their own teams don't do it, who do the experts fancy?
This moment of time, Cliftonville. It's as simple as that. They're 6 points clear. You can't fancy anybody else but Cliftonville.
All we can do is concentrate on our job, and that is to collect as many points from now until the end of the season, and then see what that leaves us.
Yeah, I would have to fancy Cliftonville. I must admit, from probably 3 or 4 months ago, I thought that they were the best side that we had played.
That's the $1 million question, and Shane, if I was able to tell you that, I would be doing your job.
So with McFall's side. But in the second half, Coleraine hit back to equalise with a goal from McCallan. A very, very important point for them. Well, they cleared the snow off the pitch at Oma, so the game against Linfield could go ahead. But they're probably wishing they hadn't bothered, as Glenn Ferguson put the visitors in front after just 11 minutes. Linfield added 2 more in the second half for a comfortable victory. There's a good goal by Ferguson. Very, very threatening player up there in attack. We can go straight now to the Smirnoff Ice League. There is the table now. Only 4 points of difference between Cliftonville and Glentoran, and Linfield there on 49 points. Go ahead now to the first division results. There you are. Ballyclare 2, Distillery 4, Carrick 0, Limavady 2, Dungannon 4, Larne 3. A cracking game at Stangmore Park. But the big game of the day, Newry 1, Bangor 0. Great result for Newry. Well, Bangor, they had the best of the first half of the Newry showgrounds. Michael Surgeon going close early on. But the home side went ahead after the break through Daisy Gorman. And a superb result for them indeed. Well, now, local jockey Tony McCoy this afternoon became only the second man in national hunt history to ride 200 winners in a season when he partnered Fantalist to victory at Kempton Park. McCoy now joins Peter Scudamore as one of the only 2 jockeys to have managed the double century. But McCoy has reached that mark with 2 full months of the season left. So Scudamore's overall record of 239 winners in a season is certainly in his sights. In women's hockey, Pegasus are the Irish Senior Cup champions after beating Old Alex 5-0 in Dublin this afternoon.
7 minutes in, Claire McMahon converted a Samways cross to give Pegasus an early lead. A hailstorm interrupted play for 5 minutes, but Pegasus picked up from where they left off with a second goal by Pamela Gill. And seconds before half-time, McMahon got her second and the Pegasus third. 9 minutes from the end, Jeanette Turner's run created the opening for Kim Mills. And Arlene Thompson's penalty corner completed an emphatic win that sends Pegasus into next year's European Cup Winners' Cup.
Well done to them. There's the All-Ireland League results today. Dolphin 29, Cork 35. Shannon 70 points winners there. Turren 34-23. Gary won 13-12. The Ballymena game off. Clontarf winners 29-13, but Dungannon beaten 29-13 as well. Division 2, Greystones 3, Buccaneers 8. Malone beaten 18-30. Dillasalle 34, Sundayswell 10, and 18-6 there for Galwegians. Monkstown beaten by Skerries. Estonian 17, City of Derry 27. Go ahead now to Division 3. There's the results. Highfield winners, Ballynahinch winners as well. UCD beats Antonians and Dublin University beat Queens. In the Division 4, as we raced through them, 38 points for Richmond there, 28 points as well for Bangor. The last 2 games are off. Well, Nigel Kerr was at Sheehan Park.
After the restart, the hooker collecting the cross for Derry's first try. That effort had been against the run of play, but when captain Neil Stewart scored an injury...
8 minutes gone. And Elliott, he scored 4 goals in the last 3 games. Good run. Just couldn't supply the finish. Long run from Colin Nixon. Glenavon not coming to meet him. It's a low cross, Andy Kirk. Good save, O'Neill. Nixon the provider that time. The skill from Kirk. And there's skillful goalkeeping as well from O'Neill. Now, what can McCoy do? He can chip it in the middle. O'Connor had a real chance, and again it's not away yet. Just 7 minutes on the watch as Elliott hooks it across. It's past that post. Hamill. He couldn't control it. Just McBride. Still McBride. Stuart Elliott. There's the winner. And the fans go wild at the Oval.
Great result for Glentoran, unbeaten this year. On to league leaders Cliftonville, who had a tricky-looking away game at bottom of the table. Ards, both teams have plenty to fight for, albeit for different reasons. Mark Sidebottom is on commentary.
To win the league, you must win games. To win games, you must score goals. Today, Cliftonville had trouble doing that. Barry O'Connor wide after only 7 minutes from 6 yards. Ards too were guilty of squandering in front of goal. This 12th minute let-off, compliments of Derek Cook. No goals in the first half. Barry Mason did come close in the 42nd minute, but found Rees in superb form. 0-0 at half-time. The league title is far from won.
The goals in the second half. Now, 2 teams who've drifted
upwards, while Glentoran and Linfield both won. The Reds lead now by just 4 points. Portadown lost further ground. They were held to a 1-1 draw at home to Coleraine. Shane Glynn's roundup of the action starts at Castlereagh Park.
Cliftonville boss Marty Quinn was none too happy after Saturday's top versus bottom clash. But with Ards in desperate need of points themselves, it was never going to be easy for the leaders. They fell behind to John Kerr's strike, but former Ards man Harry McCourt headed the equaliser 20 minutes from time. Rounds, while the league leaders beat Omagh 3-0. Cliftonville never really looked in any trouble at Solitude tonight. They took the lead on 11 minutes. Mickey Donnelly, on his return from suspension, tucked home Jody Tolan's neat set-up. 9 minutes into the second half, sub James McDonough made it 2 for the Reds, turning home Damien Davies' knockdown from Sliney's corner. Omagh's cause wasn't helped when they lost their keeper, Jerry Crossan, who seemed to land awkwardly following this corner on 69 minutes. Mark Donnelly stepped into the breach, but he could do nothing to stop sub number 2 Stephen Douglas wrapping up the match for Cliftonville. A powerful finish from McCann's set-up. At the showgrounds in Ballymena, Coleraine
will take place here in UTV tomorrow. Last night, Ballymena and Cliftonville won their quarter-final ties to join Linfield and the holders Glenavon in the half. League champions Crusaders in a crunch Premier match this Saturday won their quarter-final tie against Omagh with goals from Mickey Donnelly, just back from suspension, James McDonough and Stephen Douglas. After the game, Omagh Town manager Roy McCready transfer listed Sean McCabe, Gary Heaney and goalkeeper Gerard Crossan, who after being injured last night was replaced in nets by Mark Donnelly. But he couldn't stop the Reds netting their third goal of the evening. Not pretty defending, as Cliftonville booked their place in the last four. Well, Paralympics gold medalist and world record
Windsor Park, where Linfield, who are third, face second place Glentoran, and involved in that Big Two clash.
Daylight between there now. Now, a draw for the quarter-finals of the Bass Irish Cup, which is here with me. I'll have some of the numbers to watch out for. I'll let you see them. Yeah, Crusaders number 1, Distillery number 2. The B division sides are number 3 and number 5. Glenavon, the holders, number 4. Linfield 6, Portadown 7 and Glentoran 8. And without further ado, I'll hand you over to David Curry of the IFA, who'll conduct the draw. David.
Thank you, Jerome. As usual, the home clubs will be drawn by Mr. Ken Pritchard, Chairman of the Senior Clubs Committee, and the away clubs will be drawn by Mr. Brian Houston, PR Manager of Bass Ireland. Ken, the first round.
First number 3.
Armagh City.
Number 8.
We'll play Glentoran, and that match will be at the Oval.
Number 1.
Crusaders.
Number 5.
We'll play Institute.
Number 6.
Linfield.
Number 7.
We'll play Portadown.
Number 2.
Distillery.
Number 4.
We'll play Glenavon. That concludes the draw. These matches will be played on Saturday the 14th of March. Jerome.
Thanks very much, David. And for some immediate reaction, we go back to the Oval, where Jackie Fullerton's with two managers who've been watching with interest. Jackie.
Yes, I've got Billy Hamilton and Roy Coyle here, and I think they should be smiling. Billy Hamilton, the holders, Glenavon, away to Distillery. What about that?
It's back to my old club. That'll be interesting. They're playing quite well at the moment, so it should be an interesting tie.
So it could have been worse for you?
It could have been worse, yeah, but we'll have to beat our best to beat Distillery.
And Roy, what a good day for you. You've got all 3 points here and at home as it ends up against Armagh City.
Well, obviously we'll give them the respect they deserve. They're in the quarterfinals, the Irish Cup, which is one of the premier trophies. They're there in merit, so we will treat them as if we're playing one of the Premier League teams.
But nice to avoid Linfield, Portadown or Glenavon.
Yeah, I'd be telling lies. I would say no. None of us want to be paired with one of the bigger teams. So, but in saying that, there you've no guarantees in this game, so we'll treat them with the greatest respect.
And the championship's the big thing, of course, but the Irish Cup, it's the glamour day of the season.
Tolan and Tab. Riot police called to Seaview there late on in the second half. Glenavon 3, Portadown 0, Shepherd, Quigley and Grant, and Linfield 3, Glentoran 0. 3 players sent off, McBride, Nixon and Beatty, and also police involved with crowd disturbances there. Yes, lots to talk about at Windsor Park. Linfield leapfrog Glentoran, but disgraceful scenes there. Players involved in a free-for-all. 3 Glens players sent off, and the match disrupted because of crowd trouble.
The Belfast Big Two drew the biggest crowd of the season to Windsor Park, more than 10,000. And it was the man with the biggest transfer fee in local football, Glenn Ferguson, who had the Blue Men cheering midway through the first half. Ferguson cost £55,000, worth every penny if he continues to score goals like this. With so much at stake, passions were running high, and the game exploded 10 minutes later in a mass brawl that involved virtually every player on the pitch. Glentoran's Justin McBride was involved at the start. After that, it all turned nasty. Glen's skipper John Devine had to be dragged away from the melee. Linfield's Alan Byrne would later need stitches and a nasty head wound. The slow-motion replay reveals he was actually butted by his teammate Stephen Beattie. When the dust had finally settled, it was McBride who got his marching orders, though a few others were lucky not to follow suit. With only 10 men, Glentoran were always going to be up against it, and they fell further behind 7 minutes into the second half. Davy Larmour with his 20th goal of the season, after superb work yet again by Ferguson.
Yes, Steph was seen in the reports that there were scuffles at half-time in the dressing room area. And ugly scenes too at Seaview, the game delayed after trouble on and off the pitch. Here's some of the action.
A solid championship performance in the first half from the Reds at Seaview. 2-0 at the break. The first came from striker Jody Tolan in 11 minutes. Playing a second game back after a serious ankle injury, he pounced after Barry O'Connor's lob came back off the post. The Crews came back into it well, but Marty Tabb made it 2-0 for the visitors 5 minutes before the interval. The big centre half powered home Gary Sliney's cross. The nearest Crusaders came was from this cross come shot, which Rees did well to palm away. In the second half, Crusaders continued to press forward. Rees was again called into action, palming away after Lockhart's neat turn and shot.
Yes, a day of derbies in the Premier League this afternoon. Glenavon dealt Portadown's championship blows a severe blow. The opening goal came in 18 minutes. Dominic Shepherd only signed on Friday by the Mornview side, scoring on his debut. Well, Portadown had several chances after that, but it was Glenavon who added their second on 39 minutes. McCoy's corner and Nigel Quigley with the header. A 2-goal cushion there at the break to go on and win 3-0. We can take a look now at the Premier League. There you are. Cliftonville 57 points, Linfield 52. Cliftonville extend their lead. We can go ahead now to the First Division results. There you have them. Ballyclare 2, Bangor 1. A real blow that for Bangor. Dungannon off. Larne 0, Distillery 1. Taylor with a goal there. And a superb result there for Newry. They continue to lead the way. 3-1 winners, MacDonald.
Hello, we're a bit later this week because of the rugby, but it was worth it to see Ireland's division. Here's the headline. More trouble. Substitute Kirk Hunter lasted at just 1 minute, sent off against Cliftonville again. There was a 5-minute delay. The Reds eventually took the points. And more news from Windsor Park. The RUC have confirmed that a man was detained after a half-time incident in the dressing room area involving Glentoran manager Roy Coyle, seen here walking off the pitch at half-time. 3, Portadown 0, Dominic Shepherd on his debut, Nigel Quigley and Tony Grant. Linfield 3, Glentoran 0, Glenn Ferguson with 2, one from Davy Larmour, and Omagh Ards was postponed. On to the First Division. Ballyclare 2, Bangor 1. Alistair McComb own goal and Crawford McRae for Ballyclare. Jason Byrne for Bangor. Dungannon game called off. Larne 0 result was incidental. The commentator is Jackie Fullerton.
So Beatty is up, Devine is up as McBride hooks it in. Oh my goodness, that was Lehman just wide with the header. Forward by Byrne. There's a good run from Lee Feeney. Down he goes. Nothing given. The run from Ferguson, neatly past Devine. Still going, Glenn Ferguson. But no trouble in the end for Wayne Russell. McDonald drills it in. Ferguson tries to find space, and he found the bottom corner. 24 minutes gone at Windsor Park, and Glenn Ferguson, the man who turned Glentoran down, decided on Linfield, and that's his third goal in a blue shirt. Oh, there's a bit of kicking here. Oh my goodness, a real scrum here. Now, Beatty is down on the ground, and a real set to, and the referee really has to sort this out. That is ridiculous. David Jeffrey even getting involved with Paul Lehman. So Justin McBride has got a red card. And Glentoran's top goal scorer is out of this game. Strong header from Murphy. Ferguson controlled it beautifully. It's off the bar. Larmour's there. 2-0. 7 minutes into this second half. Tremendous goal from Linfield. McDonald. Feeney, down he goes. Now, could Colin Nixon be in trouble here? And it's a red card for the young defender. Glentoran down to 9 men. Beattie gets another chance to cross it. And again, Larmour, Ferguson! 7 minutes left. And Ferguson was in there for his second of the afternoon. So, late challenge by Beattie. If that's a yellow card for him, he is also on his way. And this is amazing. And still some missiles being thrown.
Seaview for the North Belfast derby between Crusaders and Cliftonville. More trouble on and off the field, as Mark Sidebottom reports.
Play resumes. Jerry Flynn back on his feet. Marty Tabb with the free kick finds Jody Tolan. Tolan to McCann. It's fallen for Barry O'Connor. Still O'Connor. Looping shot. Was it there? It is this time. Jody Tolan. 11 minutes of play gone. The mark of a striker. Jody Tolan from 6 yards. The hard work done by O'Connor. 1-0 Cliftonville. 41st minute of play. Gary Slaney to take the corner as Cliftonville come looking for a second goal. It's gone all the way to the back post. It's Marty Tabb. It's 2-0. The red hands tighten on the Gibson Cup. Couldn't have been simpler. Kirk Hunter headbutting Damien Davey. Crazy brawl has broken out. Kirk Hunter just been introduced as a substitute. Now this is ridiculous. The red card has been shown. Deplorable scenes, utterly to be condemned. Kirk Hunter given the red card. These are scenes which the Irish League could very much be doing without. The riot police have been called in. Although we haven't picked it up on camera, a missile was hurled onto the field of play. Well, we've just gone into injury time as Cliftonville come again. Collins. Davy O'Hare out yet again to claim. Did Davy O'Hare put the knee in? This could be a second red card. He's already been booked. Off goes Davy O'Hare. Alan Snoddy, little hesitation, the knee did go in.
What's the world coming to? Riot police at Seaview. Jackie Fullerton's at Windsor Park. We can go to him. Jackie, the pictures look terrible. What on earth's going on today?
Yes, I must say, Jerome, it's all quiet at Windsor Park at the moment, but you join me here. I'm upset. I'm also very angry that some people, once again, have dragged the game I love, and a lot of people love, into the mire. I think, as I may well have said in commentary there, a lot of good supporters here from both sides and a few bad boys on both sides can cause all this trouble. Now, Superintendent Henley of the RUC has said things are too confused at the moment to make any comment, but he said there would be a full-scale inquiry into what he said were disgraceful scenes, and they really were disgraceful scenes. Apart from the on-field scuffle, we had problems in the North Stand, fans clashing with police, and then I didn't see it, but bad fighting afterwards, rival fans, and then the police getting involved there as well. It really is a black day for Northern Ireland football.
And the blackest, sounds like Jackie has ever seen, or at least for some time. We'll not even bother showing you the table today. It hardly seems to bother, or hardly seems to have any importance. That's the football. But what about the rugby?
Seaview, where Kirk Hunter's dismissal 60 seconds after coming on as sub against Cliftonville sparked more disgraceful scenes. Hunter was red-carded for this blatant headbutt. The incident sparked ugly confrontations off the pitch as well, and the game was held up for 5 minutes as riot police moved in. Crews manager Roy Walker said afterwards that he was considering his future in the game, and after a weekend like that, who could blame him?
With me now is IFA President and Cliftonville Chairman Jim Boyce. Mr. Boyce, just how embarrassed are you at that?
That's disgraceful, Fergal, is the only word that I can use to describe it. Here we are in a situation where we're trying to attract more families, more young people back to the game of football, and we've these thugs and morons who come along to disrupt the game that we all love, and something's got to be done about it. It can't go on.
So what's going to be done?
Well, obviously the Senior Clubs Committee of the Irish Football Association will soon be receiving the report from the referees at both games, and I am quite certain that they will take very serious action, because quite honestly, as I've said before, this can't go on.
Well, let's just look at at some of the action earlier on Saturday, and it's the players who begin this violence, isn't it? Let's just look. Here we see a headbutt on the field, followed by a whole lot of fighting among individual players, and it's after that that the fans start into violence. What are you going to do about the players?
Well, can I say first of all, Fergal, that I believe that clubs have got to look seriously at the conduct of some of their players. Can I just say that as Cliftonville chairman, if at any time there's any player from Cliftonville Football Club who I feel will bring that club into disrepute by their actions on the field, that I would ensure that action was taken against that player. And I'm quite certain that the manager of Cliftonville Football Club would give me his full backings on that. But at the end of the day, it's up to the individual clubs to look at some of their players who bring that club into disrepute. Now, the IFA have got a punishment scale. The IFA Senior Clubs Committee obviously deal with referees' reports. Maybe the punishments aren't enough for some of these offences.
Well, the last time that there was major violence, we saw players getting fined £250. Surely that...
And Shane Glynn saw what happened at Solitude.
Scoreless at half-time, though Cliftonville must have been wondering how. As early as the second minute, Jody Tolan should have scored from Barry O'Connor's header. Colerane's Davy McCallan then forced a fantastic reflex save from Rees in the home goal. O'Connor then shot over on 35 minutes. But the closest the Reds came to a goal was on 42 minutes when Gary Sliney's fine effort hit the post from Tolan's poke back. From the throw-in, former Cliftonville keeper Paul Prentice pulled off a fine save on his debut from Tim McCann's close-range effort. Then in the 17th minute of the second period, Jody Tolan produced a special finish to break the deadlock. He celebrated as only he can, the only goal of the game, Cliftonville flying high and still on course for that league title.
Yeah, very significant result today. Well, action now from Shamrock Park and Portadown against Linfield.
Linfield put the Ports out of the Bass Irish Cup last week with an impressive 3-0 win at Windsor. But it was a scrappy affair in the first half at Shamrock Park today. Glenn Ferguson with the game's first chance after only... The IFA don't use video evidence and act only on the referee's report. In England, it's a
Cliftonville against Ballymena, and the Reds got both goals in the first half. Skipper Mickey Donnelly stabbed home the opener on 11 minutes from Gary Sliney's corner. 3 minutes later, and it was deja vu from the Ballymena defence. Sliney's corner headed back by O'Connor, and there was veteran defender Marty Tabb to force it home. But it was a different Ballymena at the start of the second half, and Desi Lochry, who looked lively throughout, dragged them back into it on 47 minutes, sliding the ball neatly past Rees in the Cliftonville goal. Cliftonville should have wrapped it up on the hour after the move of the game. Barry O'Connor and Jody Tolan involved. Tim McCann outpaced Nigel Boyd, but shot when he should have squared it. The Reds held on though, and will take on Linfield in the final.
And that's it from
Cup final 4 days later. So a fixture headache for Linfield and to a lesser extent Cliftonville, who booked their place in the Coca-Cola decider with a 2-1 win over Ballymena last night.
There was a paltry crowd of just under 1,000 at Windsor last night. The game was supposed to have been played last week when it wouldn't have clashed with the televised European game. But after the trouble of 2 weeks ago, it was rearranged. League leaders Cliftonville scored both their goals in the first half, both from corners, the first from skipper Mickey Donnelly. Defender Marty Tabb, who says the veteran tag is starting to wear a bit thin, headed the second. So Ballymena's season, which promised so much, is effectively over. One positive for the Sky Blues was the form of a newly skin-headed Desi Lochry.
Six of the best, that's what's the Premiership title, with all to play for, as Cliftonville lead Linfield by 5 points. The leaders are at home to Coleraine in a vital game, while the match of the day is at Shamrock Park, where Portadown take on the Blues. Glentoran should keep up the pressure with victory at home to struggling Omagh, while Ards and Ballymena have home advantage. But the race to the top this year is one of the most exciting ever. Linfield are still a big threat, and one of their young stars could be the key.
Vital win in the race for the championship. Glentoran keep up the chase, but Linfield drop valuable points. The Premier Division. Ards 0, Crusaders 1, Chris Morgan, Ballymena 2, Glenavon 1, Barry Patton and Philip Nell for Ballymena, Tony Grant got one back. Cliftonville 1, Coleraine 0, Jody Tolan, Glentoran 2, Omen 0, should be Andy Kirk 2, he got both of them, and Portadown 0, Linfield 0. And in the First Division, Bangor 1, Larne 0, Carrick 0, Newry 5, a hat-trick there for Andy Myler, 1 for Trevor Smith and 1 for Chris Winters, their new signing. This the Premier leaders Cliftonville at home to Coleraine with Jackie Fullerton on commentary.
McKeever again, Tom McCallion, he can hit them. My goodness, what a good save that was by Paul Rees. Slidey, O'Connor. Tim McCann did well to get the cross in. Tolan arrived. Slidey, the post. Long throw from Flynn. Flick on. Tim McCann, great save by Prentice. It's all Cliftonville at the moment. The long throw caused the problems. Tim McCann hooked it. Good save, Prentice. So Gary Slidey from 25 yards to hit it. He did. It was off Johnston's head. Tolan, the overhead. 19 minutes gone in the second half, and Cliftonville have made the breakthrough. 9th goal of the season for Jody Tolan, and how important it could be. Marty McCann to swing it in with that left foot. Won by Davey. Palmed away. Donnelly. It's off the line. Sliney driven in to McCann.
Step closer for Cliftonville, and we can go straight back to Solitude, where Jackie is with the Cliftonville manager, Marty Quinn.
Yes, and Marty Quinn must be a happy man. Are you?
I certainly am, Jackie. Delighted.
It was a bitsy sort of a game.
It wasn't a great spectacle. There wasn't an awful lot of football played until possibly the last 25 minutes. I thought Cliftonville started to get their act together and get the ball down on the ground and start playing a bit better. But no, it wasn't great. It was a great result.
And a great goal.
Oh, absolutely special goal from a special player in Jody Tolan. I thought today it was going to take something special the way the Coleraine goalkeeper was playing. He had an excellent game, Paul Prentice, ex-Cliftonville, and it took something special, and Jody's the right man for that.
Is it fair to say maybe a little bit of tension showing with Cliftonville today?
Yeah, I think there was a bit of tension. The boys were very uptight. I felt they said to them at half-time, let's get back to the basics again, just take it as an ordinary game if we can. But yeah, the pressure was there to be seen and to be felt, I think.
5 games left, 7 points clear. People will say it's theirs.
No, it's not. It's not ours yet. I think if we can win another 2 games, possibly if we can win our next 2 games, then I might start thinking it's ours.
Right. Okay, Marty, thanks a lot for joining us. Well done today. Back to you, Jerome.
And thank you, Jackie. On to Portadown, where the Reds had the chance to avenge last week's 3-0 defeat by Linfield in the Irish Cup. The commentator this time is Mark Sidebottom.
Lee Murphy's ball. Lee Freeney's there. Plays it off for Ferguson. Just 1 minute of play gone.
Man with healing hands. As Portadown skipper, those hands have lifted the league title 3 times. But this season, Cliftonville helped end their championship ambitions.
3 times in the league they've beaten us, and probably deservedly so as well. And in my book, anybody that does that to us is certainly championship material.
They've looked title material all season. Just 7 defeats in 31 league games. One manager says they've many qualities, particularly experience.
With Marty Tabb playing in the back 4 has been outstanding. He's marshalled his troops well, and we find them very difficult to play against, and I think they'd be worthy champions this year.
Away from the players and managers, as always, the press have a view.
It's all about team spirit, I believe, up there. Crusaders had it last year and Cliftonville have it this year. They've done a remarkable job with limited resources, and I feel that the big reward is just around the corner for them.
The Cliftonville run-in is not easy. After Glenavon tomorrow, opponents include Linfield, Glentoran and Portadown. Can they do it?
I think they've got over the major hurdles, and I think it's going to be very difficult for anybody else to catch them now.
I must admit Linfield have come on really strong.
and as of Glentoran. But I still think Cliftonville will do it.
Yes, the Reds are looking good for that title. Motor racing, the Formula One circus has... Here, I'm not hearing anything, folks.
So I'd like to have had Jackie Fullerton's commentary there, but now we can go to Jackie, and he is still at Moorview, and indeed he is with a couple of Cliftonville players we will hear from. We haven't gagged you, we haven't banned you, Jackie. You're with Marty, Marty Tabb and Tim McCann.
And Tim McCann, you're absolutely right. I'm sure we'll see the highlights in a moment. But Marty, 0-0, what about the game first of all? It was a tough one.
It was a hard game, Jackie. It was always going to be a hard game. I mean, nobody's going to do us any favours, or any of the other teams any favours, I would imagine. So in that respect, we're happy enough to come away with a point.
What about the performance today? Perhaps better in the second half?
Well, it improved in the second half. There was a slight breeze we were playing into in the first half, and it was making things a wee bit difficult. But both teams were committed, and it was really a lot of football wasn't played. It was a lot of up-in-the-air stuff, and it was tight, you know. So, given that there, we're pleased with the point.
Yeah. Tim, do you feel it's 2 points lost at this stage?
No, I just feel that as long as we keep going, and I think a lot of teams coming down here playing away to Glenavon would have been happy with the point, and not losing, that's a bonus, and we've just got to look at it as we haven't lost, and we'll just take the next game as it comes.
I was there last week when you beat Coleraine 1-0. I'm here today and you've drawn 0-0. Yeah. Is it fair to say there's maybe a bit edgy, a bit nervy, the performance?
Obviously, towards the end of the season, there is a bit of nervousness, but I still firmly believe that the lads still have their feet on the ground and have firmly got their minds on the game. And obviously, every club probably has a bit of nerves towards the end of the season, but we don't have any more than usual. It's just business as usual on the pitch.
Let me come back to Marty. It's now 5 points of a lead with 4 left. It's still not bad. You're still in the driving seat.
It's still not bad. It's great, Jackie, because we're in a position everybody else would like to be in, and we relish that. But we're in a position everybody else would like to be in, and we have no problems with that. We can live with that.
You're still there. Gentlemen, thanks for joining us.
Thank
back
you.
to you, Jerome.
Okay.
Thanks, Jackie. The ban has been lifted on Jackie. We're now going to have those highlights from the game. We'll see them now with Jackie on commentary.
Marty Tabb lets it go. Oh, Rees didn't get there. And that's away by Davy. And almost a dreadful mistake by veteran Tabb. A real mix-up. The chance was on, but Davy to the rescue. Plenty of men up from the back as McCoy gets it across. Quigley won the header. It's off the line by Tabb. The danger not away yet. But it's over the top by Michael Cash. McCoy then, dead ball specialist. O'Connor, it's all a bit of a mix-up there. Danger still, Darren Murphy. Down he goes, but no penalty. And Jerry Flynn gets it away. Gary Smith. Grant's flick. Just wouldn't come down for Shepherd. It may do yet. Shepherd! Tremendous save by Paul Rees. 28 minutes on the watch here at Moorview Park, and almost the first goal. Shepherd, he really hit it, looking for his second goal. Well done, Paul Rees. Grant. Glendenning chips it across. That was O'Connor's header. Tim McCann. Good cross, Marty McCann. Donnelly. Tolan. Chipped. He saw Dermot Haneel off his line. It was clever thinking by Tolan. Good run in the first place. Saw Haneel was out of his goal, but the chip didn't measure up. Shepherd will take it quickly. Johnny Wright. Oh, it's dipping over. My goodness, Johnny Wright, he hasn't a goal this season. But he speculated there, didn't he? And Paul Rees was always backpedaling, and some relief when it dropped over. Cash. Still Michael Cash. Finds McCoy. Gets the crossover. Shepherd. Tony Grant brings it down. It's off the post. Just 3.5 minutes into the second half, and more trouble for Cliftonville. Grant, 23 goals this season, so close to number 24. Lynn's free kick. Ah, trouble here. Tim McCann. Slidey. Goalkeeper got a touch. In the middle, through the gap, is Marty McCann. Marty McCann! Just over the top. Good sweeping move from the league leaders. Tim McCann. He eventually found his namesake, and he was very close. Marty McCann. Still going, Marty McCann. Danger here. Good ball in. Dudley! We're now in time added on at the end of this game. Cash releases Tony Grant. Grant, he's hit it well, but well wide of that far post in the end. But that would have been a sting in the tail for Cliftonville, right at the death here in this very important game.
Thanks again. Ballymena 2, Omagh 1, Michael McHugh for Omagh, Des Lockery and Neil Candlish for Ballymena, Cliftonville 0, Linfield 3, Coleraine 2, Ards 2, Pat McAllister and David McCallan for Coleraine, John Kerr and Philip Morgan for Ards, Crusaders 4, Glenavon 1, Crusaders were 4-0 up after 24 minutes, Mick Deegan, Stephen Baxter, Brian Russell and Gavin Arthur, Ricky O'Flaherty got one back in the second half, and Portadown 2, Glentoran 0, Colin Trescent and Vinnie Arkins. And moving on to the First Division, Bangor 3, Dungannon commentary.
Murphy losing out to Tolan. Tim McCann's in the middle. There's the lob. Well, that was very clever stuff from Cliftonville, and indeed from Tim McCann. Hit it first time, but Geddes, well, he grabbed onto it. Oh, a mistake here. Ferguson could be in. Glenn Ferguson. It's 1-0. Half an hour gone, and a goal out of nothing for Linfield. Ferguson, he missed a great chance here last week in the cup tie. He's certainly made amends this week. Wonderful chip. Linfield have the lead. Bailey. Tom McDonald plays it in low. Larmer. Byrne. Marks, lovely ball through, Davy Larmer. Oh, it's 2-0. Tremendous finish from Davy Larmer. 37 minutes gone at Windsor Park. 23rd goal of the season for Larmer. He was played in, and my word, he blasted it. 2-0. Tolan was there first. And that's a bad challenge. Jody Tolan is off. It was a high challenge by Jody Tolan. He's already been booked. So Jody Tolan getting the wrong flag and gesturing to the Linfield fans now. He'd be well advised not to do that. Gets it in low. Ferguson wanted it to run to him. Lauer took it off his toe. Byrne, Feeney. Oh, McNamara played in here. Feeney, Ferguson. It's 3-0. Glenn Ferguson, second goal of the day. When the ball wasn't cleared, the ace marksman was there.
He was indeed. So Linfield right back in the hunt for the league title. Just 2 points behind the Reds with 3 games to play. Not surprising.
In the game, I feel if we had have done so, maybe we could have done so.
David Jeffrey upbeat, and so too Marty Quinn. But Linfield's win added spice to the game at Shamrock Park, where Glentoran knew a win over Portadown would also bring them to within 2 points of the leaders. The commentator this time is Mark Sidebottom. Glenavon, and they've got Coleraine away as well, and Glentoran have Ballymena Crusaders at the Oval, as well as that game at Solitude, all very tight. And let's move on to the First Division table. It's as it was in the First Division. Newry won and are still 6 points clear.
90 years. A win last night in Omagh leaves them 4 points in front with 2 games to play. Adrian.
Eastwood are now quoting Cliftonville at 8-1 on for the Premiership title, and the Blues are on offer at 9-2 following last night's league results. Cliftonville are now 4 points clear with only 2 games left. Linfield only able to force a draw with Crusaders. All the focus of attention is now on Solitude on Saturday. A win over Glentoran and the first title for Cliftonville in 88 years. A significant night at St Julian's Road as Cliftonville grab what could prove to be 3 vital points in the race to the championship. Although luck wasn't on their way early on, McCourt's shot rattled off the crossbar. The Reds continued to press, but the Omagh defence stood firm. Keeper McBrearty to the rescue here. Into the second half and the build-up to the goal. A great passing movement by the Reds, but the ball eventually cleared for the corner. And from that, Sliney's kick went straight into the net. A vital breakthrough for the league leaders and an opportunity for celebrations for the fans. Harry McCourt claimed the goal, but in truth it doesn't look that way with our cameras. Sliney's corner going straight in. And Omagh almost caused problems late on. McCready blasting over. Not a vintage performance by the Reds, but the champagne, it's on ice.
It was a frustrating night for Linfield at Windsor Park. They threw everything at Crusaders, but found keeper Davy O'Hare in outstanding form. He denied Lee Feeney and Davy Larmour early on with 2 brilliant stops. Glenn Ferguson narrowly failed to hit the target with this powerful header. Feeney hurried his finish from spikes through ball. In a frantic last 12 minutes, Glenn Dunlop produced a perfectly timed tackle to deny Ferguson. Then O'Hare kept out Larmour again with only 4 minutes to go. Right at the death, Liam Dunn nearly pinched it for the Crews. Linfield left wondering how on earth they failed to score.
And a night of frustration for Glentoran at the Oval, and it all started so well. John Kennedy shot to Stephen McKinney, the perfect start. But a moment of magic from Glenn Hunter brought the sides level. Superb skill here from the number 8 and a finish to remember. But into the second half, the Glens again put themselves in control in the 61st minute. Andy Kirk, who else, with the vital touch. But Glentoran allowed their nerves to show, and 10 minutes from the end.
They listened to hear about Linfield's game at Coleraine, hoping the Blues would fail to win. The wait was worth it. Linfield only drew, which means Cliftonville are Irish League champions for the first time since 1910. They've won the title with 1 game still to play. Yes, welcome to Northern Ireland results on a dramatic day in the Irish League. Cliftonville have waited 88 years to land the title, and they were made to wait all afternoon before finally becoming the new champions, and that, of course, is the day's main headline. It was Harry's game in the first half at least. Harry McCourt sent Cliftonville on their way. That meant Linfield had to win at Coleraine, but former Blues goalkeeper Wes Lamont denied them in a 0-0 draw. Newry Town will be up among the big boys next season. They are drawing at the moment 1-1 with Distillery. And world snooker champion Ken Doherty has made a confident start at the Crucible, including a break of 131. And talking of world champions, Wayne McCulloch may be a world champion again. He's aiming for a title fight in August after winning his comeback last night in America. Right now, all the Irish League results from this afternoon. Ballymena 1, Portadown 2, Cliftonville 1, Glentoran 1, Coleraine 0, Linfield 0, Crusaders 2, Omagh 2 and Glentoran 0, Ards 0. Glenavon, rather, did I say Glentoran? Glenavon 0-0 with Ards. In the First Division, Ballyclare 2, Larne 0, and Carrick 1, Bangor 1. That is now a latest. You see it coming up on your screen now. That game started at 3:30. Dungannon 2, Limavady 1, and Newry 1, Distillery 1. That also is a 3:30. Stuart McLean gave Newry the lead. Philip Dykes has equalised, but it shouldn't really matter. Newry certain to go up. There's only one place to start, and that, of course, is Solitude, with Jackie Fullerton on commentary.
Gary Sliney drilled it in low, Donnelly, but straight to Wayne Russell. Well, Mickey Donnelly's got 3 goals this season, 2 of them in the month of March. Was almost in there, but not quite. Hamill. McCann, lovely control, good ball through, Harry McCourt. It's off Russell, Kennedy with the clearance. And a real chance there. And the danger is not over yet. Now Slidey lifts it forward, Donnelly. Still Donnelly, away by Devine. McCourt, it's 1-0. 18 minutes gone, and Cliftonville have made the breakthrough. Harry McCourt, he got that vital winner against Omagh in midweek, and there he was on the end of that cross, prodded it in, and Solitude comes alive. Kirk won it. Finlay lays it into space. Beattie will not get there. Rees did. And some of the Cliftonville players thinking Beattie was a little bit late with the challenge. Hamill. Oh, he's hit it well. Slidey, chance to get it in the middle, he does! Barry O'Connor misses a real chance. And that could have been the goal to seal it and wrap it up. Great ball played in from Slidey. O'Connor on his own. Couldn't find the target. Bad miss. Rainey. That's a good ball in. It's 1-each. It's Philip Mitchell. The Glentoran support go wild. The Cliftonville fans are silent. Is that the goal which could delay the celebrations? Super ball. And what a great finish from Philip Mitchell. Tim McCann. Nice ball in. Donnelly. There's a good ball. Flag stays down. Jody Tolan. Goalkeeper way out of his goals. It's still Tolan. Has he taken too much time? He couldn't find the target. Stephen Small. That's a good ball into the middle. The header from Martin McCann. And what a chance that was to wrap it up and wrap up the league title.
The party put on hold there, but the party has finally begun at Cliftonville. Richly deserved too. And with us a party, you'll find Jackie Fullerton, and he is with Jim Boyce, the Cliftonville president.
Yes, the Cliftonville chairman is here. Great excitement, great day. First title for 88 years. Jimmy, you have waited for this day.
I have indeed, Jackie. I remember as a small 6-year-old boy standing behind the goals here and doing ball boy at this club, and I also remember going to train to Derry. I think you might have played in one of those games yourself, Jack, when we come back with scores like 10-4 or going to Windsor Park and it was 8-2. I remember in school one day the teacher telling me to get out and go down and get some footballs for the local match because I wasn't really caring about my studies. I think I was more interested in what Cliftonville would do the following day. It's a dream come true, Jackie, and all credit.
What an atmosphere.
What an atmosphere, Jackie. This club has gone through over the last number of years some horrendous problems. But at the end of the day, we are a club, we stick together, we've some great people at this club, and it's wonderful not only for myself but for all of the people that have been associated with this club for a very long time. And the highest praise must obviously go to Marty Quinn, Rory O'Boyle and all of the players. But tremendous, Jackie.
And you're in Europe and all of that, what that means financially.
Oh, obviously so, Jack. I mean, let's hope we need to spend an awful lot of money on the ground, and I'm the first person to admit that. But let's remember, Jack, we built this team with £12,500. 3 players out there today cost us money, and again, I think it's been a wonderful achievement. First Premier League with 10 teams, and let's hope we can go back and win it next year.
Day to remember. Jim, thanks very much
indeed.
It's
a pleasure, Jack.
Back to you, Jerome.
Thanks, Jackie, and thanks to Jim there as well, the chairman, of course, of Cliftonville. I'd promoted him there. Anyway, let me take you back about an hour or so with Cliftonville only managing a draw. The door was open for Linfield. A win at Coleraine would have brought them to within 2 points, and with just 1 game left to play. Mark Sidebottom is a commentator this time.
Larmour, still Larmour. Good effort, Davy.
Premier League yesterday, and here's how it happened. 1-1 at full-time at Solitude after an early kick-off. Marty Quinn and his team needed Linfield to lose or draw at Coleraine for the title.
It's an awful injustice, the fact that we have to wait now for another hour to find out whether we're champions or not.
What are you going to do?
Well, I'm going to go into the change room and I hope there's a few beer in there, and I'll have a couple along with the players.
At the showgrounds, the Blues were being held to a 0-0 draw. Back in Belfast, the thousands of Cliftonville fans who stayed behind listened to the latest on the radio. And inside the Reds' dressing room, the players counted down the minutes.
Keep them wagons rolling! Keep the wagons rolling, lads! Keep the wagons rolling! Here, hide that!
The pressure was too much for some. Back outside, the fans amused themselves as they waited in hope to celebrate victory.
What's the final whistle?
The atmosphere was still intense in the Reds' dressing room as Linfield and Coleraine edged towards a scoreless draw.
Tell you what, it's the last one, Julie. If ever a lot of players deserve to win the championship, it's these boys.
The fans still waited patiently to cheer the full Monty. And then, after a wait of 88 years, it was over. An emotional day for all involved at Cliftonville as the Gibson Cup was lifted by the captain, Mickey Donnelly.
And there's a full report on how Cliftonville won the league in tomorrow night's UTV Live at 6. Meantime, from Stephen and me, good night.
Good night.